Review text. Our story plunges into the grim heart of Los Angeles, a city choked by neon and perpetual rain. Deckard, haunted and hardened, finds himself pulled back into the Blade Runner business, tasked with hunting down a fresh batch of rogue replicants. The chase intensifies as Deckard zeroes in on Jorah, a replicant whose deadly allure masks incredible strength and agility. Their paths collide in a rain-slicked street, and a deadly game of cat and mouse ensues. Jorah seeks refuge at a local genetic designer, Chew, a peculiar individual whose genius lies in crafting artificial eyes and whose words drip with sinister undertones. He speaks of making friends out of toys and having a hobby in genetic design, which are code words for the replicants. A disturbing alliance is forged between Chew and Pris, another replicant driven by desperation and defiance. She plans to lure her pursuer, Deckard, into the genetic designer's lair to take him out. Meanwhile, Deckard's investigation leads him into the depths of a crumbling Bradbury building, where the neon-lit atrium reflects an eerie, fractured vision of a world on the brink. He cautiously treads the water-soaked floors, alert, weapon drawn, knowing he is walking into a lion's den. The building is a desolate gallery of macabre art, a stark contrast to the manufactured beauty of the replicants themselves. Each is a haunting reminder of humanity's obsession with creating and destroying. Pris emerges, her punk aesthetic jarring against the grandiose backdrop, to confront Deckard, and a brutal melee ensues. Their fight spirals down the halls of that building, a desperate ballet of survival. Deckard ultimately subdues her, his face a mask of exhaustion and grim resolve. He exits the building into the downpour, and uses those recent clues, gained back at the designer in his ESPR machine. He isolates the tear, zooms in, enhances. Tracks 45 degrees to the left, another step closer. Deckard, guided by the tear's chemical composition and sheer determination, traces the next replicant to a seedy nightclub, a den of debauchery hidden beneath the glittering skyline. The air is thick with smoke, and bodies writhe to a discordant symphony that seems to echo the replicant's own internal chaos. Deckard finds Jorah in a steamy dressing room with a boa constrictor slithering around her body, shedding another layer of humanity. Their confrontation explodes from that closet, as Deckard corners her in an electrifying chase sequence down a teeming, neon-drenched boulevard. The rain, the crowds, and the labyrinthine streets form a chaotic canvas for their dance of death. Deckard stops in his tracks and faces a wall of neon-lit words before seeing the replicant running into his sights. He raises his gun, aims, and with his expression torn by regret, she drops dead. Back at his apartment, we see Deckard once again haunted by the reality of what he must do, seeking solace at the piano as his fingers trace melodies that can't be heard over the storm. The piano is covered in a layer of dust and family pictures. Is he a replicant? A question still begged. He finds something, one piece of evidence that might help him, Rachel. The story continues, and Deckard soon receives a surprise visit. The next morning, she comes to his apartment. She is nervous, distraught, and wants to know, will he come after her? "You're so perfect," she tells him, to what he responds, "Not here, you're here." His gaze penetrates her manufactured beauty and sees something more. He sees a soul. He pulls her close, to be close to him, to feel something, and they kiss. Everything fades to black. This episode concludes not with victory, but with the cold realization that Deckard is caught in a vicious cycle, hunting down beings who are more human than human. Rachel's question hangs heavy in the air. If you're not a cop, and you're not in the business, then what are you? The Blade Runner universe isn't just about androids and assassins. It's a mirror reflecting our own moral ambiguities and existential fears. Now the hunt is on. With 2 replicants down, Pris is now known to be working with Batty. And now Deckard wonders, is Rachel one as well? Stay tuned. Deckard enters Sebastian's apartment, and it is dark. Sebastian is eating, and he is very nervous. Roy follows Deckard, and Roy wants to help him get to Tyrell since he knows that Tyrell is the genius that made them. Pris wants Roy to ask for more life. He has a limited lifespan, and so does Pris. JF Sebastian says he will get the door for them because Roy can't be seen. Deckard is talking to Hannibal about the chess game. Sebastian will not touch the chess pieces, but Hannibal will, but it can be seen that he's nervous about doing that. He's really sweating, just really dripping sweat. Roy takes his hand and comforts him. Roy kisses him. Pris comes to the door and the look on Hannibal's face shows what she means to him. Deckard talks on the phone to JF Sebastian and he plays chess with Tyrell. JF Sebastian is used by Roy to get to Tyrell. As Sebastian and Roy enter the Tyrell building, they ride the elevator high into the sky as Pris is watching them on the screen. In this whole thing, it shows the world around them as they get deeper and deeper into the city. We then cut to Tyrell's bedroom. Roy then comes up to the room